All right, all right, all right. What's happening, guys? Yours truly here, Xavier Smith, aka Coach X. You know the one. Many names, but one mission. I've been sent here to impact, inspire, and improve the lives of others. And today is no different. I just get to do it with friends today. And this is just one of the crew. This is my guy Jim or James. And say hi to the folks real quick.
Yep, you can call me Jim. James B. Frank is my name. It's a sentence. If you put a comma in there, James B. Frank. My parents were really clever, so I thought I would put it in there. But yeah, you can call me Jim.
Awesome, awesome. Well, hey, we're getting ready to talk about, you're going to drop in and eavesdrop on a conversation of excellence because we're talking about how are we going to change the world through good solutions, or as I like to say, excellent solutions. So if you want to get in on that, you want to do this, you just want to stay tuned. All right, all right. What's happening, guys? Welcome back to the show. Yours truly here, Xavier Smith, and it's a Thursday. It's a pre-Friday, and I'm here in Arizona. My guy Jim, he's in another part of the country. Tell us where you're located right now.
I'm actually on the Oregon coast, and the sun is shining for the first time in like a week and a half. So it's a nice day on the Oregon coast. Yeah.
Nice, nice. All right, so we're getting ready to have a conversation about NuMee. Okay, now let's talk a little bit about that because it's a new year. People are still, I hope, still dedicated and inspired to create a new them. But how are you going to do that? How are you going to maintain it? How is it going to be sustained? And that is kind of the questions that we have before us today. And I got my guy Jim, aka James B. Frank. I love that. That's kind of cool. So we're going to talk about that and a whole bunch more, and hopefully some of the other members of the NuMee crew can chime on board. But before we get to anything else, let's talk about the who, what, where, when, and why. James, tell us the position that you play within the crew of NuMee.
So there are actually three founders. I'm one of the founders. Brian Small had the idea. Hopefully he'll be joining us. He's kind of in transit there, but I'm one of the three founders. My position is Chief Operating Officer and Chairman of the Board. So yeah, Ryan gave me a call and talked to me about this idea a year and a half ago, and I loved it. And I've known Ryan a long time, and so we put it together. But that's what I do. I focus on operations.
Nice, very good, very good. All right, so I got a video that I want to share with you guys, and if you're watching this live with me, I would love for you to drop in a comment, let us know who you are, where you're from. If you watch this on the replay, please use the hashtag replay when you consume this content because we are doing our best to change the world through grassroots efforts, and this is I think this is something that you would consider an excellent solution as well. All right, so let's get into the video real quick, and that'll give us a little bit of explanation as to what NuMee is all about. All right, so let's pull this bad boy up right here. And here we go.
NuMee is a total wellness platform, and we're excited to present it because it meets you where you're at in your wellness journey. It makes it fast and fun and an interactive way to take control of your wellness.
A lot of great things that work. So the app helps make it fun. Our target demographics are the schools, right? So mostly the younger kids, giving them the tools to cope so they do better all the way through school and through life. And then working professionals, 18 to 50, because the app can be done from home or from the can if you want, either one. And the third is athletes. So targeted athletes that have a private space to connect with their coaches from anywhere. Those are our three target demographics.
Our NuMee wellness journey is made up of three pillars of wellness, and we're focusing on the mind with our mental well-being. We're focused on diet and nutrition, and we are focused on the physical fitness exercise aspects of wellness.
One thing we do really well, and I think this really differentiates us from our competitors, is help people believe in themselves. That is the gap that prevents people from getting on the app and using it and staying on it. It is all about believing in yourself, and that is almost 100% mindset.
And in order to have one, you basically have to have all three.
New you, new me. We tossed around a couple of ideas, and in checking what was available and what we liked, we came up with NuMee, and we spelled it NuMee, just to have it be symmetrical. So NuMee, as in it is a new you, it's a new me, new chapter in your life. How we came up with NuMee Can for the physical space is we wanted to upcycle shipping containers, and often shipping containers are referred to as cans. So we were referring to it as can for the longest time. And when we said NuMee Can to somebody else, they're like, oh, that's a positive affirmation. We really like NuMee Can, like the new me can.
We need it in the modern world because essentially we're fragmented in how we look at wellness. As a whole, some people try fitness as a solution. Some people try nutrition as a solution. Some people actually go to like a therapist for a solution. We're actually all that encompassed in one. And essentially this will help people actually break those barriers and actually get over just constantly being well, but not well. This is why we call it preventative wellness instead of reactive wellness. We'll have things like stores and marketplaces where you'll be able to interact with us on a daily basis. And this will solve the problem of total wellness because it's fragmented in the sense of where you react because you have certain apps to go to and certain apps that you don't log on to and certain social sites that you go to. Well, NuMee is a community that is app-based and platform-specific so we can actually end the madness of not being able to find your wellness journey.
So the other thing that makes it truly special is the fact that they're fully customizable. For my backyard, we've customized it with the raw lumber.
We took the house as a mirror image and made it look like basically a barn in the backyard. This just goes to show that if you want to make a custom can, we can mirror image it to your house and just opens up the opportunities to make it look like anything you want in any setting.
Not only can you customize the outside to make it fit the surroundings, but you could customize the inside to whatever your workout needs to be or your health needs.
The main reason to use NuMee is that instead of trying to be a new wellness product or a new thing that's out there, there's lots of great methodologies, yoga, Tai Chi, there's all kinds of great things that are out there. The problem is it is hard to stay engaged and hard to remain motivated, right? A lot of us are not comfortable in social settings like gyms or sometimes the availability due to other restrictions, limitations. So we wanted to come up with a private space, and we want an app that plugs the motivation gap, that really connects you to something that makes you want to re-engage. So we have an avatar. You go help this avatar. It represents you when you work out and make progress. You see it really quick with the avatar, and that helps you see progress in yourself and take care of something else at the same time, your digital self. So it's a fun, gamified way of doing the things that are tried and true that work, but helping you have fun in the process and see rewards more quickly.
And boom. Whoa, that was freaking amazing. All right, let me just clear this up because we got a new member. We got another crew member on board. Hoorah.
Yes.
Hello.
The smartest of us, Kate, who really knows the wellness, has joined us.
Yes. Awesome. So what's happening, Kate? First of all, let me say hello to you and welcome.
Hello. It's nice to be back with you.
Indeed. You just walked in on the tail end of the NuMee intro video.
Yes.
And we were just, showing the crowd whether you guys are watching this now with us. And thank you, by the way, whoever dropped that love emoji, we want to say we love you and thank you. I'm gonna give you a big Hercules for that one. And we also have a comment, which I'll chime in and check later. But Kate, this was instrumental because I love the fact that Todd had addressed, and I think you, Jim, had said something about, there's a small pocket of the population who are just not comfortable going to a gym with the mirrors and the people who may have different agendas for even being there. This will kind of solve that problem because it's closer to you, it's more personal, and there's an app connected to it. Can you, either one of you, can you take a little bit more on that? Talk about that a little bit more?
I could ramble forever, but Kate, I want to give you first crack. You just got here. Do you want to weigh in first, or should I?
Well, so one of the, I'll reflect back to when Ryan first brought this idea to me. He didn't know me. He knew nothing about me. Tony, the one who actually constructed the can with Ryan, actually knew me and knew what my skill set with nutrition and wellness and really personal training. He introduced me to Ryan, and when he first started, because his story is about not feeling comfortable going to the gym, worrying about what other people are doing instead of focusing on yourself, worrying about being judged, not knowing what to do, but also not wanting to like people to look at you and be like, look at that person, they don't know what they're doing type thing. And so that's where the tie-in came in with the app and the can. It was that you get to have someone, a personal trainer or a nutrition provider or a wellness coach or someone kind of helping you work out in a private environment that's like a mini gym. And then it kind of grew from there. And Jim, this is where you might be able to jump in. It grew from there where the can itself would be a smart facility, and you'd have like those smart mirrors. You would have Alexa tied in, and you would have the what's it called? The Halo watch that tied in like your heart rate or EKG or your body composition or your sleep and your dehydration or hydration levels, so that whoever is working with you is also able to see this information and give you a personalized advice. So it was all tied in to each other and a very unique prospect.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, were you going to say something, Xavier?
No, I like that. I mean, we were talking backstage, if you will, before we went live, and we were, just throwing back and forth some questions and answers, because like you, Kate, I come from a very similar background. I got my certification to officially help people back in 2007. And it started with me just wanting to help people after getting out of the U.S. Air Force. I knew I wanted to help, but I didn't necessarily want to work for someone else. So the idea of outside boot camps came to mind. And there was a group of ladies in my real estate office, which I was licensed to sell real estate, but turns out I didn't like the paperwork. So ixnay on that idea. And so we did our first boot camp, and it was a success, and people wanted more. And so from that, it just kind of snowballed. And I was telling Jim, right behind this studio, or this curtain right here, is my studio. It's traveled with me. And since 2007, because when I was interviewing with these other big box facilities out there, I came away with the idea and feeling that their biggest interest was in me selling products more so than being concerned with their welfare. And so I ended up staying independent. As such, I got over 140 5-star reviews, and people actually like coming to my facility. And the main reason I did that is so I can keep myself accountable. So I had no excuse. So like if I'm teaching people and telling people how to do push-ups, I better know how to do a few of them on my own, So that's how I got started. And then it just kind of, like you, Kate, when I asked you about how much time you like spending on research, I'm kind of the same way when it comes to figuring out how I can more effectively help people get better at the game of life. And whether it's somebody that comes to me that wants, physical help, another person might come to me with a physical request, but they actually need mental help,
Yes, absolutely.
Jim and I were talking, and it's like, I can tell people to eat greens and smoothies all day long, but if they're going home to an abusive relationship,
Yes,
that's an issue.
totally.
So that's what got me motivated to be like, okay, how do we go deeper than just, doing bicep curls, but how do we activate the mindset and like help people make clear choices,
Yep. Yep.
So we were having a discussion before we went live on it's so much power in just making a choice, right? It's like you can choose to be mediocre or you can make a choice to go the excellent route. That's how I like to say it, worded in my world. But one or the other, make a choice. And
Yep.
I was telling people that there's so much power in choosing one or the other. I'm not here to judge. I'm only here to help. But you have to take your power back by making a choice.
Yep. And it's funny that you say that. I had a client just before I jumped on here, and we were wrapping up the session together, and she had initially come to me for nutrition and fitness, but we spend most of our time talking about mindset and where she's at emotionally. And we both have martial arts backgrounds. And she actually had just restarted in the martial arts world, and it happens to be under my previous sensei. And I was saying one of the favorite things that I like about this particular sensei was he there's a he likes a lot of the the speakers who are always looking to make change. And I don't want to necessarily name any names, but some big names out there, and they're motivators and what have you. And one of his favorite messages that I've taken was the message that where attention goes, energy flows. And
Yep.
then that's when you start seeing results. So of course, if I'm focused on, I want to run a 5K, so I'm focused on getting out every day and upping my mileage and moving. Of course, I'm going to be successful because that's where my energy, my attention is. So that's where all my energy is going. And then my life could be falling down around me, but man, I can hit a 5K. So and to what you were just talking about, Xavier, is what I was explaining to this particular client. When we first started 4 or 5 weeks ago, her focus was everywhere. Her energy wasn't anywhere. It was here, it was here, it was there, it was there. And we've, over the past 2, 3, 4 weeks, pulled in and said, what are we focusing on? Let's put our attention there. That's where your energy is going to go. That's where you're going to start to see and feel success and get some confidence. Get that in the pocket. And now let's pick something else and then get your focus there. Doesn't mean the other one has to disappear, right? That doesn't mean you're like, oh, forget it, we're done over here. But you just get a nice little habit going on over here, and then boom, you get your attention, your energy, and your focus. But to your point, you have to make that choice to be all in, give it your attention, give it your energy, make your changes, establish your habits, and then you can step to the next.
Yeah.
Well, what struck me about what you said before we were on the air, which you're talking about the choice, is not making a choice is a choice. Mm-hmm. And it's a choice to stay with what you're used to. We're all addicted to, and when we talk about addiction, we often think about drugs or alcohol or whatever, gambling. And, I mean, everyone is addicted to what they do often and what they're used to doing and what has become habit, right?
Yep.
For the better or for the worse, and not making a conscious choice to pursue that. That's what struck me as you were saying. I make a choice when I wake up in the morning. I'm like, that's power. That's the power, right? And I need to be better about that. Like, even though my focus may be on this, I'm not consciously asking myself, am I making this choice today? And even though, and I like another thing you said about set the work aside, at least for that moment, right? Set the fear of having to overcome obstacles aside in that moment and make the choice that you want to pursue excellence. That's what struck me. And if you don't make that choice, you're kind of making the choice to just stay the same.
Well, first of all, Kate, I want to catch you up on this conversation that we just had. what Jim is referring to is when he chimed in and I let him into the green room, he asked me how I was doing. And my response, as it usually is, something to the effect of, hey, I got another day to play, so it's going to be an excellent day indeed. So that, I was telling Jim, that is a choice that I had to practice. Okay, now this is going to take a little bit of explanation because there were 17 years. I think I talked about it when we were last on. 17-year jail sentence. You're looking at that guy who served it all 17 years. Bitterness, frustration, anger, and just mad at the world, right? And it was all stemming from what I thought my parents did or didn't do for me. So my struggle, my addiction was not wanting to forgive. I was the one at the bottom of that pool with that chain wrapped around me, and I had the freaking key that whole time. And it was just making a choice to forgive. And once I did that, my whole life changed. That doesn't mean that wasn't, yellow brick road all the way, happily ever after. It just means I was willing to do the work. But from that point on, I did feel 100 pounds lighter, and I was ready to tackle some of those missed opportunities and some of those, those things that just kind of floated on by because I chose to be right there in that, like a piece of driftwood, and just kind of floating on the current of life without any direction. Okay. So we got a question actually. We have a friend who just chimed in. How does someone start the process to go get healthy? Is it all mental or is it more than just that? Oh boy, who wants that one?
That's okay.
I'm happy to jump onto that because what's screaming in my head is another, I'll say and I don't want to say it's a cliche, but it's more of a saying is, and it ties all that we're talking about together, and it's habits we train are habits we gain. And it doesn't matter if it's a good habit or a bad habit. So it's just a habit. Whatever my habit is, when I wake up, to your point, Xavier, every morning you wake up and you had to make an effort to say, today is going to be a good day and I'm going to do this. You had to train that habit because prior to that, your habit was, like you said, being bitter, being angry, being whatever. So, to answer this particular question from Jade, how does someone start the process to go get healthy? You have to, again, to echo what Xavier is saying, you have to make the choice to say, I want to start. And then you have to take that first step, whatever that looks like. And I'll use an example. Jim likes it when I talk about quick wins. I'm going to use water as an example because it literally is the easiest thing you can do.
Yes.
Before you go to bed at night, you fill up a glass of water, 16 ounces, and you put it next to your bed. And every morning when you wake up, before you even stand up, sit on the edge of your bed and you finish that glass of water. Right.
Hallelujah.
Right? And you say, every morning I'm going to do this. And you make the decision that every morning I'm going to do this. B, you prepare every night by putting that there. And C, every morning you refuse to stand up until you drink that glass of water. Right off the bat, you're ahead of the game. You start your day with a quick win. You're hydrating yourself. And then you can, from there, take the next step. What's the next step going to be? Maybe it's to do 10 squats while you're brushing your teeth. I don't know, whatever it is. It is literally, it is mental to say, this is going to be the habit I'm going to train starting now. And then every time you succeed and create that habit, you add another one on, and then add another one on, and add another one on. So, okay,
I got to tell you something. This right here is you. Are we like sisters and brothers from another mother?
Could be. Although I will say I've never been in jail. So no.
Right. So let me just tell you something, because back then, long time ago, eons ago, I wasn't drinking water, right? My water was Mountain Dew.
Oh, boo. Right? Sorry, Mountain Dew.
Right. Sorry. So here I am making that choice. Okay, I know I got to get better, but what do? And that is that exact recommendation is exactly what I did. Okay, exactly. And guess now for you, Jade, here's the hard part. A lot of people are going to be like, we're probably going to tune out because when I tell them this, I did it for the next 100 days.
Well, yes, you have to do it.
100 days. I'm not talking 30. I'm not talking 60. 100 days. That you just pour this thing in, you just open it up. Now, I've gotten to a habit now where I can do this in like, who's got a stopwatch? I think I can do it sub 10 seconds.
1.5 seconds.
Right? So now it's like it's nothing to me. And so I'm up to like 4 of these every night.
Yep.
And so, but it started with just doing one thing. And it's so funny because now I have a whole service dedicated to just habits. It's called habit coaching. So we go through a week. They tell me one thing that they want to get, because like you and your client, their energy is all over the place.
Yep.
And then we focus it and dial it. You know how we used to have that experiment where you had a magnifying glass and you would depending on where you put it, you would harness the power of the sun and just beam it into this one little direct point of light, and
Yep.
you can burn something with it.
Yep.
That's called laser focus. And so I would take all that stuff that they were telling me that they needed to do, and they were future casting into all the stuff that they had to figure out. And I'm like, no, why don't we just focus on one thing that we can do today?
Yep.
And then get a mastery on that. You know, when I was learning my handstands, one of the coaches that, was teaching me, he's like, first we learn the basics and then we add complexity on top of that. So first I just had to learn how to put 250 pounds of pressure on my hands and just be able to maintain it on my wrist. So that took a while. But hey, it's oddly enough that we didn't know how to walk when we came out of the womb.
Right.
So I'm like, you're right. So now you have to be willing to be an adult and go through the process of learning how to walk, except you're doing it on your hands.
Yep.
So yeah, I'm here to tell you, sing your praises, Kate. That's an amazing piece of advice. And Jade, I hope that works for you, because that is one little piece of the puzzle that you can put together, and within a year's time, man, you'll be a different person.
So a funny story too. So I often am talking about my mom, and she has struggles with her type 2 diabetes. And one of the things she hates to do is drink water. And when you have diabetes, one of the things you need to do is drink water. And so over the past 2 years, you're welcome, Jay. Over the past 2 years, me and my brothers constantly, like 2, 3, 4 times a day, one of us is texting my mom, like, drink your water, drink your water, drink your water. And I went over to the house. And so this is 2 years have gone by, and I'm over the house the other day and I'm sitting on the couch, and she looks at me, she goes, I think there's something wrong. I'm thirsty all the time. And I'm like, nope. You're supposed to be thirsty. Like, we're supposed to be thirsty. We're supposed to be hungry. And we actually, people don't like to be uncomfortable. So what I found is people who, if you don't eat a lot and you lose your appetite and you no longer know when you're hungry, you're just eating because you think you're supposed to eat, or you're mindlessly eating, or, oh, it's 5 o'clock, I might as well eat, or whatever it is. They never learn to listen to their body say, I'm hungry or I'm thirsty. So when we start to retrain our brain and retrain our body and retrain our systems, all of a sudden these little triggers happen. And people who all of a sudden find themselves thirsty or hungry, they think there's something wrong. And I'm like, oh, we're supposed to feel thirst. We're supposed to feel hunger. And that's because that's when we're supposed to go, oh, I should drink, or, oh, I should. But in order to get there, you have to train ourselves to be there. So.
Yeah. Excellent. Now let's take that and let's point this, let's give the spotlight to Jim. So Jim, are you telling me that in the app, would people be able to have conversations like this, or what does it look like in this new world, this NuMee new world application that we're trying to, bring to the world?
Yeah, there's a lot of good stuff out there. There's a lot of, we know what we should do, and there's a lot of misinformation, right?
Yep.
So along with the right things, there's a whole lot of wrong things mixed in, and you have a specific. Everybody's a little bit different. We're really common. There's good things. Everybody should be drinking water. There's a lot of these quick wins, like things Kate mentioned, but it is hard to wade through the information, and it is hard to change your schedule, change how you behave. And, everybody, not everybody, but, the people that struggle with it, and I've struggled with it, right, to stay engaged in my wellness. And Ryan, like, we're regular people, right? And that's part of the reason we wanted to do this, is that we needed the help from somebody like Kate and yourself, who it appears to an average person, I will say, I guess, that you just have this motivation inside of you, and you find a way to do it, and you just make it happen, and you wake up, and and it's just there for you. Like, why is it so hard for some of us to stay motivated? And so that was really what we wanted to create, was this way to address that difficulty and that barrier to remaining motivated and engaged. So the whole point of the app is to make it fun and accessible and not apply pressure. So sometimes when you go, at least my experience in the past, like if I talk to, I won't even put a bucket in because I was going to say a trainer, but there's lots of different trainers, lots of different approaches, right? But in the past, if I get this, here's your workout routine, and you got to do legs today, back today, you got to do 50 reps of this, and it's like, if I don't go to the gym and do that, then I don't succeed in my wellness plan, because that's my whole approach, is this piece of paper with my routine on it, right? And I'm talking, when I was 30s trying to do this. Which was not too long ago, just recently. So not that old. Anyway, that's what we wanted to do. And so in the app, right, we connect. Part of the cool thing, it's kind of gamified. You saw a picture in the video, like you make an avatar and you get to see results more quickly in the avatar. So you drink water, you get points for it. You see your avatar gets like new color jacket or whatever, right? And you get points showing you're making progress in that pillar, that nutrition pillar. Nice. Okay. And so, and you make little quests that are reasonable, and you have accountability partners. So we actually use a matching algorithm. I hesitate to even compare it to dating, but if you think about compatibility amongst people, right, it's a similar concept, and that where you're at in your wellness, where you're at with, are you overweight, underweight? Do you not eat? Do you not sleep? What do you struggle with? Everybody's got this little bundle, right? This kind of package of things that they need to work on, plus your personality. How do you like to communicate? How do you think about things, right? And so we take both of those, and you create this profile for your avatar that's you, but your avatar, and we use that to help match people and connect to accountability partners, right? So you have people that are going to hold you accountable to your plan. You really need a coach. So we have coaches on there, and you can hear them talk like exactly like this. Go listen to Xavier, listen to how he talks, check out his podcast. And if you like Xavier, then sign up with Xavier, right? So that's part of it. Once you have that plan, though, Xavier can't be there 24/7 for everybody all the time, all day long. So you need a group of peers, right, that are going to be online and can be like, hey, I'm going to go for a walk. Let's both agree we're going for a walk, boom, hit the button, going for a walk. I show that on the app. My avatar gets points, and I can see progress. Even though, like you said, it's 100 days of drinking water maybe before you actually start to really realize the benefit or see it, notice it. Like other people might even see it before you do. Same thing with exercise. It might be months before you see it, depending on your circumstance. But you get to see it in the app. You can see and track and kind of log a journal and have accountability partners. and it's a little bit more of a game, a little bit more fun in the app. So that's really how we try to address that. So
I love that. I love that. It sounds like you guys really put some thought into it. So it's not just a matter of, hey, I got this app, I'm going to fill out some, a little bit of information and I'm on my way. You guys went a little bit deeper and like, how does your brain work? And how do you like to receive? How do you like to give? And, that's a little bit more involved with that, sounds like.
So what's super cool, if you don't mind me jumping in, Jim, is when we sign up, and both for coaches as well as for users, they take a personality kind of test and puts them in a little category. And some people, and I'm going to use, not that this is necessarily how we're going about it, but how some people are like extroverted, some people are introverted, some people are extroverted introverts and vice versa. And some people are like warriors and some people have all these different personality traits. You might like to communicate with like-minded people, but you also might need contrary personalities to bounce off of, right? And so if you have a group of introverts, like there might be too chatty of a group. And so you need to balance that off with a couple extroverts who know how to communicate with introverts. So what Jim was saying in that we have these like accountability partners, or we set up groups and ways to interface with each other, and all in a very private, we want to honor people's autonomy and privacy. But they'll be able to communicate with like-minded people, but also complementary personalities. So, in most relationships, you have the person who's like outgoing and crazy. And then on another side, the other person who's kind of reserved and like, okay, come on, time to come back. And it's kind of, we need that yin and yang as far as in these groups and accountability partners and peers that you are going to communicate with.
Okay, I just had a question pop into my mind as if it was from somebody who was thinking about becoming a customer in the app. So let me see if I can phrase it as she would ask. So if I join, is it going to be an app where I'm like judged if I don't work out? What if I just wanted to join the app and just talk to somebody?
So the whole point is to not have that, right? Absolutely. We don't want people to feel judged, and we don't want them to feel like they've fallen off the wagon, or you know what I mean? So because it's the 3 pillars, you can talk to somebody if all you want is to talk. And I think that's the power of having both coaches and teams. And because of the avatar, it's private. So you're not turning on your camera with a stranger and talking to them about your personal life, right? Like it's the avatar that everybody sees, and they don't know your name and they don't know where you live. And so you can talk to each other about these things and maintain privacy, and you can focus in on, you set what you're doing and what your schedule is. You choose your quests, so we call it your kind of quest. So if my quest is I need to talk through an issue a couple of times a week, it's a thing I've been dreading, but I know I need to talk about it, right? You can set that as a goal for yourself and get the points for doing that. So there's, that's the goal, is to see the progress and see some kind of visual thing that it's happened. But there's no like, hey, if you didn't do this by the end of the week, stick. Yeah, that's
so, and that's where the coaching comes into play. It really isn't about what you aren't accomplishing, but more about what you are accomplishing and celebrating and highlighting. There's, we want to keep people accountable, but it's not, and like, you haven't been in the app for the past 3 days. It's more of, hey, I noticed that you missed a couple of days. Is something wrong? Is there something I can help you with? Is there an obstacle or a barrier that I can help you overcome in order for you to get back into action? I am curious, before I joined, did you guys talk about the 3 pillars, or, you had the video? You
had the video.
So what Jim, just to clarify though, when he said we have the 3 pillars, it's yes, some people will come in and just be focused on nutrition and what am I putting in my body. some people might come in and are only focused on fitness, and some people might come in only focused on their mental well-being. You might also have both or all three, or you might come in and think, I'm coming in to talk about nutrition, and then you find out that really it's more of an emotional mindset thing. So I might need to bleed over into the mental well-being pillar, or same thing with fitness. I tell this story a lot, and I may have already told it in this environment, but I had one gentleman that I worked with, and he was just looking, tell me what to eat, and I just will be healthier when I eat more and better, and have this meal plan that you're going to give me. And then I'm going to weigh myself, and I'm going to see, data will show that I, eat better, weigh less. And he couldn't meet in person. And so he was not going to be able to check in on the scale with me. So I said, well, that's fine. Why don't we just have a phone call? So we called, and he started to laugh, and he goes, I'm very confused why we're having a phone call. I'm like, what do you mean? And he's like, well, you can't, I'm not going to get on your scale, so I'm not going to know what my progress has been. And I said, well, some people just like to discuss how they felt successful, with their food choices for the week. So why don't you just tell me a little bit about what happened this week? How did your food choices go? And it was funny because he started talking about how he came home from work one afternoon and he was super stressed. So he walked over to the cupboard and he grabbed a bag of potato chips and he just started eating the potato chips. He's like, I don't really understand why I was eating the potato chips. And then he started to go down this mental evaluation of himself. Like, why do you think I do that? And then we started talking about habits when he was younger. And all of a sudden he stopped himself. He's like, oh, this is why we do this check-in over the phone, even though I'm not stepping on the scale. It's like, yeah, because everything relies on your mental well-being. So you may be fit as a fiddle and still want to be part of this community because you want to focus more on your mental health or well-being, or you may be very athletic, but you want to fix your nutrition, or you may have your nutrition down pat, but you want to run a marathon, or whatever. Everybody's going to be different and have different goals, but you can join one of three pillars, multiple pillars, all the pillars, jump from one to the next, whatever. It's that whole concept that Jim and Ryan say when we meet them where they're at.
And that's perfect, because people get a sense of empowerment. Speaking of which, I wanted to, before I lose this in my mind, there was something you said earlier, Kate, and it's going to be more of a hot seat type of question. And
okay.
Then maybe you can point it towards Jim. But is there a difference between appetite and hunger? Ready? Go.
Appetite and hunger. Well, yes.
Jim, before you say anything else, Kate, what is your assessment on what we just said?
What do I think the difference is between appetite and hunger?
Yeah.
When I think of hunger, it's the desire to eat. And I would say appetite is maybe how much you can eat. But that's and I've only got a few minutes. My son's getting out of school here in 3 or 4 minutes.
It's too. And I'll say when it comes, hunger is what I would, and again, I'm not going to go into the science of it because I wouldn't want to be wrong. But to me, hunger is the actual, my stomach is empty. I am lightheaded. I need to eat. I feel hungry and must fuel myself. Appetite is what we train our bodies to crave or want or desire based on taste, and then again, how much can I, sometimes our appetite is
that's
way
the
bigger.
winning bell right there. That's a good answer. Good answer. All right. Well, thanks guys for tuning in and chiming in and letting us have this conversation. And for Jade, thank you for tuning in and asking some of those beautiful questions. And we always our main intention here is to educate instead of manipulate. And we just want to get the information out there. In another episode, we want to talk. I want to take a deeper dive on the fundraising component, because this is an opportunity for you as an investor, for you as a consumer, to get in on the action at the grassroots level. So maybe when we are on again, maybe next Thursday, we can talk a little bit more about how to get involved on that front. Sound good?
Awesome.
Sounds like a plan.
All righty then. So here's the question, guys. It's a simple one, and I'm sure when you guys hear this enough, you'll start asking this yourself. But the question is, why be mediocre when you can be excellent? That's our time, guys. I want to thank you for watching. Be excellent on purpose. Kate, Jim, thank you for tuning in, and we're going to sign off. Stay right there, and I'm going to sign off and in two. There it is. All right, guys, we're out.